Right now on Good Morning America, first look, the controversy over the ballroom construction project at the White House. We're learning more about the demolition and the private donors paying for it. This as the government shutdown drags on. More federal workers going without paychecks. One state deploying the National Guard to help food pantries.
Breaking overnight, the Pentagon expanding attacks on alleged drug traffickers in the Pacific with a new airstrike.
A major development in the manhunt for the thieves behind that historic jewel heist at the Louvre.
Powerful testimony at the murder trial of a former Illinois sheriff's deputy charged with murder for shooting Sonia Massey in her own kitchen. What the former deputy's partner has revealed.
2 wild crashes on the highway, 3 dead in this chain reaction crash. What police are saying about the man responsible. Plus, this tow truck driver left dangling off an overpass.
New questions surrounding the death of American chess grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky. Was he being bullied by another player? The new investigation.
The beef over beef prices. Some farmers speak out against a plan to lower prices.
And later, the shocking number of Americans not using any of their vacation days this year.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America, First Look.
Good Thursday morning, everyone. I'm Maggie Rulli.
And I'm Mola Lengi. We begin with growing concern about the government shutdown and millions of Americans struggling to put food on the table.
And with food assistance programs about to run out of funding, there's a new call for action in the Senate. Meanwhile, growing controversy over the ballroom construction project at the White House. We're learning more about the demolition and the private donors paying for it. ABC's Perry Russom has the details. Hey, Perry, good morning.
Maggie, good morning. President Trump is revealing new information about his ballroom project while critics question the urgency with the government still shut down and many federal workers trying to survive without paychecks. This morning, sources tell ABC News the entire east wing of the White House could be demolished by this weekend, making room for President Trump's 90,000 square foot ballroom. The demolition of the East Wing, which has stood for more than 120 years, shocking many on Capitol Hill, because just months ago, President Trump said this.
It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it.
Trump yesterday changing his tune.
In order to do it properly, we had to take down the existing structure.
Trump now raising the cost, saying the ballroom will cost $300 million.
I think there'll be nothing like it.
Trump says the project is being funded entirely by private donors. The White House reportedly securing millions from Lockheed Martin and Google. Microsoft, Apple, and Meta also reportedly listed as potential donors. Congressman Jamie Raskin calling it a gaudy Marie Antoinette ballroom for the billionaires and CEOs. Hillary Clinton saying it's not his house, it's your house, and he's destroying it. The White House dismissing critics as unhinged leftists clutching their pearls.
President Trump's going to add the greatest improvement to the White House in the history of the building.
Supporters say the complex needs to be modernized, but a preservation group questions the scale, saying the ballroom will dwarf the White House residence, disrupting its classical design. One historian claims it's not what the founding fathers envisioned.
The construction of the ballroom takes us toward a presidential palace and a palatial complex for entertainment. It runs counter to their vision of the executive mansion as being the people's house.
Even some Republicans question the project as the government shutdown drags into day 23.
We're talking about building a ballroom when we're trying to get the economy squared away. Timing's bad.
With no progress in negotiations on Capitol Hill, Democratic Senator John Fetterman is breaking with his party in hopes of reopening the government. He says Republicans should invoke what's called the nuclear option. It would allow the government spending bill to pass the Senate by simple majority instead of a 60-vote threshold, warning federal food assistance or SNAP benefits are about to run out for 42 million Americans. One Republican senator says the nuclear option is not the way to go.
These are moments when grown-ups should be able to sit down and be able to talk issues out.
With more federal workers going without paychecks, long lines are forming at food banks. California is deploying the National Guard to help distribute food. And then back to the ballroom project. Sources say the demolition breaks a long-standing policy that requires a government commission to approve projects like that. But now there's no way to stop the work, and the commission overseeing the construction is led by Trump appointees. Mola.
Well, Perry, thank you. The Pentagon has announced a new deadly strike on a suspected drug boat in the Pacific Ocean, the second in just 2 days. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth compares the drug cartels to al-Qaeda. President Trump insists he has the legal authority to carry out the strikes, which have killed at least 37 people, mostly targeting vessels in the Caribbean. But most cocaine entering the U.S. comes via the Pacific.
We turn now to a major development following that historic jewel heist at the Louvre in Paris. Investigators in Paris say they found traces of DNA on a helmet and glove left behind by the thieves who made off with more than $100 million in jewels from the Louvre Sunday. The DNA now being analyzed in hopes of identifying the suspects. The head of the Louvre, Laurence Descartes, facing tough questions about how the thieves were able to pull off the heist. Testifying before the French Senate, she called it a terrible failure. Descartes says alarms and cameras were working, but perimeter security was weak, and the camera above the balcony where the thieves broke in was facing the wrong way, pointing away from the building.
They had no view onto the building when the thieves parked that vehicle, that van, beneath the window with the electronic ladder on top of it, the mechanical ladder, which means that the first that they were aware this was happening was once the thieves were already inside and cutting their way into the jewel cases.
Since taking over at the museum in 2021, Descartes says she made security a priority because she was appalled by the systems in place.
She painted a pretty shocking picture of the state of the museum's security arrangements. I think people expect that there would be state-of-the-art security.
Descartes is now looking at building a police station inside the museum.
Well, President Trump is imposing new sanctions on Russia, turning up the pressure on Vladimir Putin to end the war in Ukraine. The new financial penalties are aimed at Russia's two largest oil companies, the EU also imposing new sanctions. It comes a day after a Russian airstrike hit a kindergarten, forcing children to rush to safety.
Lawmakers in North Carolina have approved a map redrawing their congressional districts ahead of next year's elections. The map is aimed at picking up a Republican seat in Congress, similar to moves in Texas and Missouri. A similar push in Indiana has stalled. As for the Democrats, former President Obama is urging California lawmakers to support a redistricting effort there.
Now to the powerful testimony at the murder trial of a former Illinois sheriff's deputy. Sean Grayson's charged with murder for shooting Sonia Massey in her own kitchen. Grayson's partner that day now taking the stand.
Sheriff's Office!
This was the moment deputies near Springfield, Illinois responded to Sonia Massey's house after she called to report a possible prowler. Things escalated when deputies told her she could take a pot of boiling water off her stove.
19 shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
In opening statements yesterday, prosecutors argued Deputy Sean Grayson shot and killed Massey with unlawful justification. Grayson, who did not turn on his body camera until after the shooting, could be heard explaining the situation later to responding officers.
You shot her? Yeah. She said she was going to rebuke me in the name of Jesus and came out with boiling water.
Massey's family says she struggled with mental health problems. Grayson's lawyers insist he believed that he would suffer great bodily harm or death if Massey had thrown that pot of water. They say he was acting in self-defense. But a key witness took the stand yesterday for the prosecution. Grayson's partner that day, Deputy Dawson Farley, testified Massey never did anything that made me think she was a threat, telling jurors it was Grayson's actions that raised my sense of awareness. Well, Grayson has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Testimony resumes today.
Broadway is bracing for a strike. Broadway musicians are threatening to walk off the job today over a contract dispute. Now, talks continued into the night. 23 shows would be affected.
Now time for your Thursday weather.
Good morning. No major storms across the country, but it is rather cool from the northern plains, Great Lakes into the northeast. Some showers downwind of the lakes. Nice in the southeast, few showers in the Four Corners and the Pacific Northwest. Melissa continues to strengthen very, very slowly. Still a tropical storm. Could become a hurricane over the weekend. Now forecast to be a Cat 4 in early next week. Very slow movement, but tremendous rains going into Hispaniola. We could talk about rainfall totals up to 6 to 10 inches into eastern Jamaica. Still a big spread in the path, but right now still expected to go into the Atlantic. Have to watch for the East Coast, though. That's your forecast. I'm ABC News meteorologist Lee Goldberg.
Well, coming up, farmers fight back over the high cost of beef.
Also ahead, what we've learned about the man held responsible for this terrifying crash that left 3 people dead.
And a court weighs in on whether a transgender woman can compete in a female powerlifting competition.
Back now with a deadly crash in Southern California. A semi-truck causing this chain reaction involving 8 other vehicles. 3 people were killed. The driver now charged with manslaughter and driving under the influence. A source says he's been living in the U.S. illegally.
Well, another crash, this one near Dallas, ended with the cab of a tow truck dangling off a highway overpass. Check out this video. The driver says while he was waiting to be rescued, the only thing between him and the ground was a window. Crews used a ladder to bring him to safety finally, and his birthday, get this, is tomorrow. Extra reason to celebrate.
We turn now to the beef over high beef prices. Some farmers not happy with the White House. ABC's Andrea Fuji explains.
This morning, it's not just shoppers worried about beef prices. Farmers also worried.
We have a record low cattle herd, and it's because it hasn't been profitable the last decade.
President Trump says he has plans to import more beef from Argentina, buying up to 4 times the usual amount. He says more quantity will help lower beef prices for American consumers. In the meantime, Trump is calling on ranchers to get their prices down, saying tariffs he's imposed on other countries should be helping them.
We're going to do something very quickly and easily on beef to get it down. The ranchers understand that. They're so happy for what I've done. I saved them.
U.S. beef prices are at record highs. Ground chuck is almost 18% higher than last year, and sirloin steak 24% higher. Families are turning to cheaper options. Hamburger helper sales are up 14% this year. Farmers blame higher prices on extreme weather and other factors depleting the number of cattle. But some farmers warn importing beef is not the answer.
We should do everything we can to build our calf herd, build our beef numbers, and ultimately lower the price with domestic beef. I don't think we should be looking for new markets to purchase beef.
Farmers also worry about safety concerns involving foreign beef and different standards. In the meantime, the Trump administration says billions in farmer assistance programs will continue and a bigger bailout package is being discussed. Maggie, Mola.
Andrea, thanks. Well, a legal victory for a transgender athlete banned from a women's powerlifting competition. The Minnesota Supreme Court has ruled USA Powerlifting discriminated against J.C. Cooper when it stopped her from competing. The court citing the state's human rights law, but leaving the door open for more challenges.
Well, coming up, how bird droppings help solve a crime in Michigan.
Also ahead, new questions surrounding the death of American chess grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky. Was he being bullied?
Back now with a bizarre clue that led police to arrest the man accused of trying to kill a businessman near Detroit. Police say they tracked him down by comparing bird droppings on the vehicle in this video to bird droppings on the getaway car. A motive for the shooting is still unclear.
A brazen sneaker heist in Florida. Police say the thieves cut through the concrete roof of this mall in Martin County to steal hundreds of pairs of Nikes. The shoes were then dropped into a getaway car. The thieves are on the run.
A Massachusetts family has been rescued after surviving a terrifying ordeal off Martha's Vineyard. They were on a 5-day cruise when their boat caught fire, forcing them to jump overboard. All 3 people managed to swim to a small island and find shelter. The Coast Guard searched the area after a relative reported them missing. The boat's marine radio washed ashore and they were able to call for help.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. Our ship went down in Tarpaulin Cove. Our ship burned while we were sleeping and we barely escaped. Yes, this vessel has sunk and we are in the farmhouse on the hill.
All 3 people suffered burns. 1 is in critical condition.
Well, new questions surrounding the death of a famous young chess player. Some of his fans now saying he was being bullied.
It's the mysterious death that has shocked the chess world.
The correct move is queen to c3.
American chess star Daniel Naroditsky found dead over the weekend in his North Carolina home at just 29 years old. He was one of the best players in the world, achieving the rank of Grandmaster at 18, amassing a huge following on social media with some 500,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next Endgame video.
But another top player, Vladimir Kramnik of Russia, recently began accusing Naroditsky of using computers to cheat at online chess. The accusations, made without evidence, seemingly took a toll on him. Naroditsky saying this in what would be his final online appearance.
But the problem is, ever since the Kramnik stuff, I feel like if I start doing well, people assume the worst of intentions.
At one point, Naroditsky reading a comment from a fan before implying it would be his last time playing.
And this will not be the last time he faces criticism or trolling. Oh, it actually will be.
He was found dead 2 days later. No cause of death given. But other chess stars are weighing in, condemning Kramnik's accusations.
The way he was going after Naroditsky was horrible. I don't think anybody thought that Naroditsky was cheating.
And now the World Chess Federation says it's considering disciplinary action against Kramnik for his public attacks. Kramnik responding, saying, "I am ready to provide all information required," while calling Naroditsky's death a tragedy.
Well, Kramnik has faced his own allegations. He was caught playing online using someone else's name.
Coming up, the shocking number of Americans not using any of their vacation days this year.
Plus, the one place that sold 3 winning Powerball tickets for the same drawing.
Time to check the pulse, and we begin with more Americans deciding not to use their vacation days.
Can't believe this one.
Is
Yeah,
crazy
a
to
new
me.
survey finds nearly a quarter of all American workers did not take a single vacation day in the last year. 43% say they've got too much work to do.
Come on. 30% said they're worried about falling behind. Others saying there's too much pressure to appear committed. I've lived abroad for too long. I've gone European. I take every single one of my vacation days.
If they're transferable,
all
I'll
the
take
time.
it.
Yeah.
Bring them over here.
All right, next, Amazon's offering a sneak peek of its smart glasses for delivery drivers.
Yeah, they come with a built-in display to help drivers on the go. The glasses will help drivers find packages and the right address by displaying the information in real time. And also take hands-free
look
photos.
at that. The glasses are paired with a vest holding the battery.
Next, a lucky lottery stop north of New York may have run out of luck.
No, a gas station in Yonkers was selling lots of Powerball tickets yesterday after word got out that it sold $3 million winners for Monday's drawing. But no luck last night. Sorry, guys. No local winner.
That's too bad.
Next, a final spin for legendary dancer Misty Copeland.
Yeah, Copeland was the first African-American woman promoted to principal dancer of the American Ballet Theater. Last night, she was honored at a star-studded gala. Hundreds waited in line to see her.
She even got a tribute from Oprah, who said Misty didn't just perform ballet, she changed it.
No.
And finally, a bear without a care. We have to show you this bear at a sanctuary in New York. Look at him, just striking
Just
a pose
chilling.
in her favorite swing. That's
Just
good
chilling.
vibes for a Thursday.
We'll check top headlines next.
Checking more top stories, the Pentagon has attacked another alleged drug trafficking boat in the Pacific, the second in 2 days. Previous attacks focused on the Caribbean. Critics question the legality of the attacks, but the Trump administration compares drug cartels to Al-Qaeda.
More protests in New York after a federal immigration crackdown on illegal street vendors on Canal Street. 4 American citizens swept up in the operation have been released. And in Chicago yesterday, more tensions during another immigration operation there. 1 person was arrested after allegedly trying to hit federal agents in a car.
18-year-old Cooper Flagg made his NBA debut last night, scoring 10 points as the Mavericks lost to the Spurs. He's the second youngest starter in league history, just 2 days older than LeBron James was when he started.
Keep an eye on him. Today's weather, cool with showers around the Great Lakes in New England, storms with mountain snow in the southwest, rain in the Pacific Northwest. And finally, pop culture history up for sale.
An auction starting today features music memorabilia, and coming soon, the Muppets. 37 years after Michael Jackson checked on Annie, that white fedora the King of Pop wore in that video is now up for auction.
There were 3 commissioned. Kim Kardashian currently owns one. The Michael Jackson Foundation own one. And the third one we are offering in auction today. And that starts at £40,000.
Or more than $53,000. Prop Store's Mark Hochman says it's the first time MJ ever wore a white fedora. But that's not all. Today and tomorrow only, Prop Store in London is selling off some of the most significant pieces of music memorabilia. Whatever gets you through the night. Including those iconic glasses that John Lennon wore during his infamous Lost Weekend period. Stand by me. Also going under the hammer, a pivotal piece of history from Oasis.
Noel Gallagher's Gibson ES355 with the breakup guitar, as it was called originally, because Liam smashed it in 2009 in Paris.
That smash-up led to the final breakup of Oasis. But thankfully, Noel eventually had the guitar professionally restored. It's now expected to go for upwards of $700,000.
You think I'm pretty?
Looking ahead to another big auction next month, more than 400 pieces from the world of the late, great Jim Henson.
This is an opportunity to share with the fans pieces that we feel that we can part with. And it's the first time we've ever done it.
The items include everything from articles of Jim Henson's clothing to a pair of Miss Piggy's shoes to some Muppets themselves.
One tablespoon. Is this as boring to you as it is to me?
Gotta love the Muppets.
I can't help it. I do too.
Gotta.
I love the newer movie that came out too. There's that song, Someone by My Side, Life's a Happy Song. When there's someone, I sing with my kids all the time. You're welcome.
Listen to this. Thank you for that.